Hey there, hi there, ho there, out in Spray Wash land. Looks like we're still waiting on Lisa to show up, and it looks like and Ray Ray is there. He's just had to run to the back, and it looks like I see a bunch of rain in the background there in Tallahassee. We just had it here in the greater Baton Rouge, New Orleans area. We had a ton of rain dump on us, but maybe that's what's over there in Florida right now. It looks like it is bouncing off of that white van. That's awesome. Anyhow, again, we're waiting on Lisa to show up. She should be here anytime, and we'll get into a nice little chat about women in the wash industry, building rigs, and that sort of thing. But before we get started tonight, I do want to talk a little bit about the huge convention because we're going to be giving away some tickets for it today. We're going to give away at least 4 tickets. So those of you that know, we are sometimes sponsored by different things, and we are being sponsored by the huge convention for this show and for the next several shows up until the huge convention. Now, one of the things about us being sponsored is that, as many of you already know, Ray and I don't take compensation when we are being sponsored. That's not what we do. We actually ask that instead of sponsoring us by financially giving to us, that they give to you instead. And so that's what the huge convention has done. They're giving you some free tickets. Well, they gave them to us to give to you, so I guess they gave it to us. I guess that's how that would work. Huh, Ray? Anyhow, we've got some free tickets to give away, and if you need a ticket, and let me just back up and explain why they're giving the free tickets out. The huge convention is looking to bring spouses and to bring employees. They're really pushing for employees to be able to come. But they also realize that it can be, especially in this time right now, difficult to afford to be able to bring employees. And so I think the cost of the tickets for the huge convention right now are $199, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're giving you $199 to bring an employee, I guess. I think they've got a deal where it's $125 if you've already bought a ticket. So I guess they're only, $125 if you look at it that way. But anyhow, where's Lisa, Ray?
I do not know where Lisa is. That's a heck of a question. So
she's doing her hair.
The star of the show. She's probably washing. So, like yes, my girl X worked for me. Women are better than men. Pay more attention to detail. I would agree with that.
There you go.
And that is David. What's up, Rhino? And Austin. That is our. I don't know if that's David Rivis's pronouns, but that is ours.
What's that?
He said he hopes, good evening, gentlemen. Hope that's your pronouns. So,
I missed that. Anyhow, yeah. Hey, so
my pronouns are that asshole.
Yeah. I thought it was just that. Never mind. If you want to, if you're looking to win tickets to the huge convention, make a comment and just say that. You know what? I know that we don't see it on all platforms. Okay, for some reason. When we get our feeds coming through, we don't see all of the comments. So I will go back through the comments later on and maybe pick some additional winners if I don't see the comments during the live show. So if you want tickets to the live to the huge convention, make a comment, and then we will pick from the people that have commented that they need an extra ticket. So there you go. That's going to be how we're going to give away tickets. So again, we're still waiting on Lisa to come through, and maybe Eric might even join. Who knows? And then Ray is off, I think, texting her or calling her.
I just got a message from Lisa, so they're having technical difficulties. So she's on her way in.
She's on her way in.
There she get the camera to work.
She's not there yet, but I see her there, but she's not there. She's a white screen. So that's Lisa in the center where we can't see her. So we can hear you, Lisa, but we can't see you.
I'm trying. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I'm going to try on my phone.
Well, if it were Ray, this would be a better appearance. But with you, I mean,
Yeah, you're the actual pretty one.
Yeah.
I did my hair and everything for this.
There you go. Me too.
Hang on. I'm going to try to log in here on my phone.
Stop it with the hair.
You should be able to. There's a at the bottom of the screen, there's a thing called settings. If you hit this little settings button, Lisa, it'll pop up, and then it'll say general camera, audio, video, and you click on camera.
Yeah.
And you can choose the camera that you want.
Yeah, it's telling me FaceTime HD camera, which is checked, but I don't have a camera. It's not working on my end.
So,
yeah.
What other options do you have there?
None. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, there.
I wonder if you can try logging in on your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now.
Okie dokie.
All right, give me a second.
We'll be here. Well, so, you know, we talked, somebody had made the comment that women are better. And as most people know, you know, I started spray wash, and then I wound up, you know, working with my wife, and Tanya was absolutely amazing to have as a business partner. You know, she was, and while Tanya wasn't that much in the field work, she was incredible, you know, on the phones, on closing business, on putting that women's touch to things that was really, I think she handled a lot of things that I could not have handled as well. She handled it better.
You know, I really believe, and I'm going to get roasted for this, but I believe that women are smarter than men. I hate to say it, but you know, and in a lot of instances, I think that they mature faster. And I don't know that we actually even mature half the time. But anyhow, so having them in the business. So we just bought another property, and my wife is hopefully going to join me in doing a lot of the rehab on it, and that should be fun because we've never really worked together. You know what I mean? She's always been on her thing, and I've always run the businesses, and you know, that kind of thing. So it'll be kind of a fun little treat, if you would. All right, here comes Lisa again. We're going to try this.
I still don't see her camera working. It'll work in the backstage area. Okay, boy, this is just pandemonium tonight, isn't it?
Yep.
So Michael Ovens, he said Marcus down here over 40% versus last month. You know, I'm hearing, and that's, I guess, the benefit of doing what I do now, to talk to washers all day long, every day. And I'm hearing it a lot as far as, especially residential wise, large scale commercial still doing very, very well. But man, I tell you, I'm hearing more and more people are saying residential is getting tight for them. So if you're one of the guys that residential is getting tight, you're not alone out there. And you know, this is one of those things that at the time, golly, it's you know, we're faced with a recession. We're faced with you know, the recession. We're faced with the summertime. We're faced with everything.
The Fed's going to have a rate hike. We're dealing with not inflation, but inflation. I mean, what are we up 9.5% or something like that? And that, I mean, that's
it was like 10.5 on the manufacturing side. It was absolutely crazy. And you know, this does, you know, the people that buy from us as washers, this absolutely does impact them, you know, a great deal, especially if you're on the budget side of things. But, you know, Michael also brought up a really, really good point there of down 40%. And he gave a very specific number, 40%. He didn't say, oh, it feels
like 40%.
It feels like it or something. I mean, he gave an exact, you know, number. In fact, he probably could go, yeah, it was actually about 39.6%. One of the reasons that if you've been in this industry anytime whatsoever, run your business like a business, track it. Track it. I mean, this is where QuickBooks, this is where an Excel spreadsheet, House Call Pro, any of these great CRM programs are going to wind up telling you what your business is, when you should advertise, when you should put your foot on the gas for advertising, when maybe you should back off on the advertising. You know, I could tell you with certainty back in my spray wash days that, you know, February and August are our slowest residential months, without a doubt.
Sorry, I'm trying to text Lisa at the same time.
No, I'll
Lisa,
keep
your camera is still
I'll
off.
keep talking on that.
So instead of texting you, Lisa, I'm just going to tell you your camera's still off. That's the problem. Can you talk to us, Lisa?
Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying to get the camera on. I'm not sure why I'm having problems. It's not giving me an option.
You know, just like you do to Eric, just whack it real hard. It'll start working.
But that doesn't work with Eric.
Technical difficulties, man. This is awful.
Brad, welcome from Madison, Wisconsin. Glad you're here. Heading down to Nashville.
All right, copy.
What's happening? You are a Facebook user, and I can't see who that is. It's not Scott Torsis, because he'd be saying something smart-ass to us. Yeah. Oh, that must be Tanya, and our marriage survived, unless that's my other wife. But
so I'm going to tell you what, Lisa, while you're trying to figure it out, do me a favor.
Yes.
And pick a number between 1 and 3.
1 and 3. Yeah. 2.
2. All right, Michael J., you just won a ticket. How's that? Wasn't that easy? That was fun, right? So nice. I just figured because Michael J. needed 2 tickets, right? And then Big Ben needs 1 ticket. And so being how they were the first 2 to say something, I just went with, okay. So he wants 2, he wants 1. That's 3. Pick a number. That was 2. So, yeah. I just felt like giving away a ticket, Ray.
Well, hey, there you go. David, exactly. You know, I mean, Tanya was just absolutely, you know, my rock. And I think I would have always been a good washer and had a good company. But Tanya took us up from this to you know, like in the words of Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap, this goes to 11. And that's really what Tanya did. She made us go to 11 on there. We don't mature. We just run out of stupid shit to do. That's pretty true. John, welcome. Henry, it's mid-July. It's just that time of the year to me. Yeah, I mean, summer times can be, and you know, and whenever we talk about the slowness, it's one of the things that pressure washing is so very regional, both price-wise, both busy-wise, both everything. Like where Michael is, and then down south of him, now would typically be a lot of their slow season. Whenever you start getting into, you know, the Jupiter, the Fort Lauderdale, the Miami, it's summertime. You get the snowbirds coming down there. They want to be up in Jersey and you know, the Northeast during the summertime. They would melt and die if they had to be in Florida. So it can be very slow at that point. But again, just the differences of pressure washing, you know, regionally, Doug, like the roofs that you used to see out there and, you know, the 1,217 pitch roofs.
You know, I had I'll say a conversation, but it was actually an email with somebody today that was talking about their numbers and how down they were. And I think, you know, one of the things that we're always talking about is to continue marketing. And in today's world right now, with the way things are, I think it's even more important to stay, you know, to keep that marketing going when your business is slowing down, when your business is at its peak. Keep that market flowing, keep it going. Don't stop the marketing efforts and do things to, as we always say, build those relationships and continue that process going, because here pretty soon, winter's going to come around. Things are really going to start slowing down. And just like I said, they're talking about, you know, increasing the rate, the interest rates, which is going to slow down the housing market, which I think is also going to affect us a little bit. So,
no, 100% it will.
All of these things we need to take into account and be ready for them.
Well, you know, I've seen that where the hot market has actually impacted our business the other way in the housing market, because the 5-6 essential realtors that called us for every listing they ever had that got on the market have not been calling like they used to, because they don't need to. I mean, stuff sells with multiple offers with one day. You know, they go and do a pre-market listing on a piece of property, and they have multiple offers. They don't even need to have the house washed. Whereas we had really good realtors that would say, you know, hey, I'm getting a listing. We want the pictures to be perfect. Go out and wash it. We don't want a problem with the home inspection, with the roof. Go out and wash. And they would absolutely insist that the house get washed by spray wash.
Yeah.
I've actually had the conversations last year where they were apologizing, going, Ray, I'm sorry, I'm not sending you business anymore. And there's nothing wrong with you. But this is the state of the market, you know?
Hey, and just
Ryan,
so you guys know, if
should
Ray and
double
I
down with me.
seem like we're a little bit off tonight, it's because we're watching Lisa try to come in and out. She's got her microphone. She just doesn't have the video going. And so it throws us off because it comes up and we're like, oh, are we supposed to? Oh. So we are watching. We're trying to get Lisa in here as quick as we can. She's just having some technical difficulties in the background.
That's what it happens. Old Jacob saying rural America, the sky is falling in January and July are the slow months there.
Mm-hmm.
Eric was probably messing with her stuff to mess with her. That is a possibility. It would be ironic.
No matter what, we can blame Eric. It doesn't matter.
100%.
If it were the other way around and it were Ray and Tanya, I mean, we would be blaming Ray. So it's just the way it is, right?
House Call Pro is a game changer, but having fun loading the data, yeah, that's true. We've had this. We had this conversation here at the sales counter the other day with somebody. And if you think about the
I'm going to tag out for a second.
You really want to go and mess around with a lot of the different, you want to mess around with a lot of the different CRM programs. And I don't care whether it's Customer Factor, House Call Pro, Mark8, Jobber, whatever it is you use. But once you get deep into that, I mean, and most of them will give you a free trial period out there, but play around. But once you get more than about a month's worth of data into it, you're almost going to be stuck at that one by default because you're not going to want to have to go and there's Lisa. Hey, we got Lisa.
We're clicking at the same time.
But you're almost you're not going to want to go and redo your CRM because you've got so much info in there. And I'm sorry, I will turn the floor over and say welcome, Lisa Sykes. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. How's everyone doing?
Surviving it now that you're
awesome.
Here. Good. Yeah, it was a long day today. Mondays are always, it's always.
Mondays are kind of crazy in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they definitely are.
I thought every day was crazy in this business.
Yeah, I guess it is. Then you throw the husband.
So for those of you who don't know, if you don't know Lisa, Lisa and her husband, y'all founded Liberty Soft Wash together.
Well, back up, Ray. It wasn't Liberty to begin with.
Correct.
What was it, Lisa?
We actually started out as roof cleaning by A&E. We kind of in the very beginning, we kind of had the blinders on, and we started out the business thinking that we were going to do it all just doing roof cleaning, and we quickly found out that that's not that wasn't feasible. So we kept the name Roof Cleaning by A&E for a couple years. And then we rebranded our company back in 2014-ish, and called it Liberty Soft Wash, and here we are today.
I remember the rebrand time, and that was I thought that was one of the smartest moves you could ever make. At that, and great name, great. I mean, the logo you guys put, everything was just great, and I knew it. That I mean that's going to be a takeoff point, and it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a water dragon floating in the air.
Dragon. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked if that was a water dragon floating in the air behind me. So now, and you were one of the original group that started Power Wash Store franchises as well, correct?
Correct. Yes. We were one of the first that got started. Back in oh gosh, the end of 17, beginning of 18. Seems like forever ago. We're coming up on our 5-year anniversary here, so still going strong. So yeah, everything kind of fell into place right when it was supposed to. But
that and
awesome.
some of the best builds that we see come out of y'all's shop.
Well, thank you, and that's we kind of have a big following for that, because I think that we put a lot of the cleaning industry that we know into the builds. Kind of cutting that learning curve. Back in the day when we first started, we didn't have Facebook, to come in and get all that information. It was the bulletin boards and talking to people that you met on the bulletin boards about this stuff. So it was, we've definitely come a long way.
Absolutely.
Well, that's part of the irony of this, Lisa, is we see that, and I don't, do builds myself at all. I don't have the space for it. I mean, it's always been a pride point for somebody to get a build out of York, Red Lion from y'all hands down the best builds, in the business. But
thank you.
I think it's very ironic because y'all have worked. Y'all have been in this business a long time, and even as a painter before this, prepping for paint before y'all ever formalized the washing business, y'all know what's needed out of a rig, more so than people that have been in business now for a year,
6 months to a year, that are
2 years that have suddenly, we build equipment now, 6 months, guess what? We're building skids at this point, where we've got you guys that have had 10, 12 years of experience and know what works.
And there's nothing more frustrating than having something, especially, if you've had something built for you and it arrives and you try working on it or you try doing something with it and it just does. If they haven't washed or they don't know the wash industry, then how do they know where and how to put things? And that's one of the things where I think it's a huge, huge benefit, getting it from York and from Eric and Lisa, is because they've been washers the whole time. And so they know how and where things go. They know about the maintenance on the equipment. They know. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely why a lot of people come to us, just because of that past experience, because we put that into the builds. We know where things are going to be easy to access and where they should be on the truck. You see some rigs come out and hose reels are out of place. That's going to make it hard to, pull the hose for what you need to do. So it's that kind of stuff that we put in there, and the little things too, bypassing hose reels and things like that people don't think about, people don't know about, and then going into the little things, just including the things like, a high pressure swivel on a gun. I'm amazed by how many people that don't know about a gun swivel, and we put this on there and we start them out right so that they're not struggling from the very beginning. So I definitely think that that's helpful. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback just about that. We've also started we'll take people out. Well, I don't because I'm retired, but Eric has taken guys out on the truck with him, just to give them some hands-on training to kind of show, here's your equipment, but okay, here's also what you do out in the field. This is where you're going to pull your hose to, so we kind of combine the two things, the truck along with, part of that cleaning process. Now, it's not an in-depth training. It's more of a, grab your hose and start cleaning kind of thing. But it's definitely a good thing for people to make them feel a little bit more comfortable about spraying bleach.
Actually, I think that's really important because I know in my area, I know of a company that has been selling skids for a while. And I can't tell you, especially in the very beginning there, where when he was really pushing for sales on his rigs, that guys would buy his equipment. Then they would come and they would call me, "Hey man, I've got one of these skids. Can you show me how to operate it?" And I'm like, no. I mean, yes, but no. I mean, why don't you call the guy that built it to tell you how to do that? I mean, happy to do it, but I'm going to charge you for my time because first of all, you're in my area, and second of all, you bought it from that guy. He should be supporting his stuff. And
absolutely,
just because somebody hangs a shingle outside of their door that says I'm an expert, and this should go whether it's pressure washing equipment or pressure washing training or guruism or whatever. But I had the pleasure to work on a rig the other day, and the guy brought it up, and he was all excited. And he says, "Yeah, I just bought this, and don't get me wrong, the pressure washer part of this rig was amazing. But they had also installed a 10-gallon a minute Comet soft wash system for him with a 35-gallon buffer tank."
Oh,
think about that for a minute. A 10-gallon a minute Comet pump with a 35-gallon mix tank.
3.5.
So he could get 3.5 to 4 minutes of spray.
Yeah.
And this was from a reputable company. That's just, and I've seen other ones since then that they have built the same way. It's a soft wash add-on that you can do for that, which is virtually useless.
Hey, real quick, let me throw something out there. If y'all are looking to win a ticket to the huge convention, make sure you make a comment on the side there that you're looking to win a ticket, so that we know who it is that's looking for tickets and who it is that's not. And that's how we'll go from there.
We really got several people out here who are giving props to their wife, Jeremy Brook, and Carly is an awesome lady, and she also has to put up with Jeremy,
which is got to be difficult.
I think that's the hardest part of
really.
the job, is putting up with your husband on the job site, honestly.
Yes,
the pulling the hose part, it's nothing. It's the dealing with that every day. And then
Eric has been reduced to that.
DeCarlos is asking our fuel prices. At least in my area of Florida, I'm still hovering in that 450, 440 range in there. So
we're looking at about $3.99 to $4.20-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we're high. And, $4.75.
Michael just brought up, Henry Ford got rich during the Depression. And 100%. And it doesn't matter during a depression, a recession, a booming market, a bear market. Stocks are a great example. The bulls get rich. The bears get rich. Who doesn't get rich? The dummies who don't do their research. There's a market for everybody in doing this. And I mean, and one of the things that we had in our conversation when we were planning this little show here is we want to talk about the value of good equipment and also the value of good training. And I maintain, and I'm sorry if I go off on a rant here, but I maintain that one of the more dangerous things in this industry right now is the plethora of free information that's out there, the free training. And a lot of the free training is guys in free training, and then the guy wants to sell you his success plan, and he wants you to watch his YouTube video about how we made $5,000 this afternoon. I was talking to a gentleman this afternoon. I've done some pretty big projects with spray wash. I mean, I've been very blessed. Tanya and I had a beautiful, wonderful, business. The $5,000 house washes were not all that frequent. In fact, I could probably count them on one hand over the course of 12, 13 years of $5,000 house washes that we did. Now, I'm somebody that's done, my share of six-figure projects out there, and $300,000 and $400,000 for single entities. But as far as a $5,000 and above house wash, not all that many, at least in my market.
Yeah, you'll get them on building washes and stuff, but not house washes, not generally.
If you're the new guy that's getting into this business thinking there's just a ton of this information all you have to do is go out and watch YouTube videos, you're honestly, and this is being broadcast on YouTube, but you're not getting the whole story. You're the people that come to Lisa and I with a Simpson machine and a AAA pump and going, fix my injector, or this thing doesn't draw bleach. How do I fix this? Right, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Then come to find out that the arrow is pointing the wrong way.
Right. Or the $1,000 equipment investment that you've made in a pressure washer is just really $1,000 wasted.
Hey, whoever that Facebook user is,
it's
right
not
there,
that good of a machine.
sorry, whoever that Facebook user is right there, it says, I would love the opportunity to attend, learn more about the industry. Let us know who you are, because you're coming through as Facebook user, and so we don't see all the names.
Mm-hmm. And
hey, and one of the things that doesn't get mentioned very often, and I think it'd be a good time to ask Lisa about it, but Gage. So we keep hearing Eric and Lisa, Eric and Lisa, Eric and Lisa, but I have a feeling there's somebody else in the background there that's kicking some butt. Is that what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely our A team. He worked on the truck, with Eric since we opened the store. He took my place out in the field, and he was just kind of like a sponge, just absorbed everything in there. We started really getting busy with the builds, and him and Eric kind of, were doing the builds together.
Did we lose him?
The builds that are done just have Gage. Now we do have a helper for the summer. One of our customers' sons. He's 17 years old, and he's an amazing worker for his age. So he's been helping out with that. But 90% of the stuff is solely in Gage's hands. He's doing that part for us. He deals with the customers whenever they come in with the builds. He's the one, giving them their walkthroughs and everything. So it's really, I'm very proud of that. He's 26 years old. He has a great work ethic. I think we kind of pound to him. I remember, he's 5 and 6 years old. I was taking him to work with me. So whatever we did, he was kind of always included. So he's not the typical 26-year-old that you get nowadays. He really has a good head on his shoulders, and he's a big part, a very big part of our store. So, plus he has an amazing that he brings in for me to see all the time too. So that definitely helps. So.
Yeah. Matt's saying there's trouble in the house tonight, so I agree. Yep, we invited trouble into our show with Lisa, didn't we? And this is important. This comment. A lot of people want big ticket jobs. They don't want to do all the work to be on the short list for the invite to bid it. And remember, we did huge jobs, but, we hit singles all day long. And if you're playing baseball, you don't have to hit a home run. In fact, you're most likely not going to hit a home run. But if you can sit there and hit more singles than you hit outs, you're going to score. And, these big giant jobs were great for the to pay off equipment, to fund the retirement account, but the weekly payroll and the office rent and the utility bill,
the small jobs.
Those were made with small house washes,
Absolutely.
not $10,000.
I would venture to say for us that house washing wasn't really all that profitable. It was what kept the trucks rolling and the bills paid and all that for those larger commercial jobs anyhow, and for those bigger projects where we actually made the money and roof cleaning and that sort of thing, where the real money for our company was, if you would. So, when you see a lot of these and everybody's looking for that big payday, that's absolutely right. It takes, let me go this direction too. If you're looking at those big commercial jobs and you keep trying to land those, eventually, sure, you'll get one, but it's all those small jobs. What you don't see sometimes is all those bids that you put in where they don't necessarily even choose anybody. And then you get a phone call. Hey, we liked your bid. We like this, we like that, whatever. We didn't accept any bids at the time because of whatever happened. Would you go ahead and submit a bid now? Because they know, and they had maybe had too many junk bids, if you would, that they knew couldn't accomplish the task. So keep those small jobs rolling. Eventually those big jobs will come.
Mm-hmm. And again, one of the things that we were talking about earlier was how the free information, and I'm not saying you can't not learn anything out there from free information. You absolutely can. But so much what I see on this free information thing is people get a little bit of the info and they run with that and don't qualify out the information on there. So I need a pressure washer. Okay, great. And then some of the Facebook forums and YouTube channels become echo chambers, where if you're talking to the same people at the same level of incompetence, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, saying it's incompetence, but they're like, oh yeah, man, I bought a Harbor Freight with a AAA pump. That's a badass machine. That thing has made me so much money. What's so much money to you? It is so much money to you, $3,000 a month, because you're not really running a business on that. You're not actually stressing or taxing that machine. I mean, think about how many consumer grade pressure washers you and I see, Lisa, that they're just not professional equipment,
being
and
brought
they're
into your
leaving
shop.
washers stranded.
Absolutely. And they, and you always hear that, oh, it's good, it gets the job done, but sometimes they don't understand how much better they can get the job done. I remember back years ago when we switched from a 5.5 to an 8, and it was like, oh, you heard that sound, and it was like, it was amazing. It was the best thing ever. I was like, I'm never going back to a 5, and then we still had the 5 gallon a minute for hood cleaning. And when I would use that, it was so frustrating. I'm like, this is like a squirt gun, So,
No.
and that they don't realize sometimes how good it can actually be, because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
I think in the very beginning, Ray,
and then you realize on the hood cleaning.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. This lag is killing us. Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that in the very beginning, you started off, and this lag is killing us tonight. But I don't think we ever said that. I mean, we talked about Lisa and start off as A&E, and then went to Liberty Soft Wash. But then I guess we did say that she owns Power Wash store in York, Pennsylvania now. So if you're in that area, or if you need a truck built, whatever, Lisa, tell me what you think is the one piece of equipment that people are maybe purchasing, or that they're not purchasing that they should be purchasing.
Well, we've had, surprisingly enough, we've had some local contractors that didn't have surface cleaners that were still doing concrete, doing wands. They're like, oh, it's only a small sidewalk. It only takes me a couple minutes, to do it with a wand. But again, it's one of those things, they don't know what they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's, kind of, one of the things. Another thing, and it's kind of like an upsell for people window cleaning, adding a pure water system and a water fed pole is something that a lot of people don't consider. They kind of want to steer away from the windows, when that can become a nice add-on for your ticket. It can take your average $500 house wash, and with gutters and windows, take it up to $1,000 for an hour and a half of work. So, sometimes I think people overlook that stuff as well.
So even like you were talking about earlier, where you were just talking about the swivel on the end of the gun. I mean, that's something that, like you said, most people just don't even think about. I know I ran my company for probably 3 years without a swivel. Didn't really realize, how useful that swivel could be. And it was really kind of a game changer, because now you're not fighting the hose anywhere near as much, which equates to, I think, how much is a swivel nowadays about?
Oh, depending on the size, $65, $75, whichever, half inch.
So if you save an hour a week, and you might think, well, that's not, you can save a lot, because every time you're going around and that hose is winding up on you, the swivel saves you a ton of time for $65. It's like, that's a no-brainer.
And it's one of those things that's going to last a while. How often are you replacing swivels? It's something that's going to last for so long, and just to make your life easier.
How many times a day do you go and stretch your hose out to get the pretzel out that's there behind the trigger gun, and stretch it out? And say you do it, 3 times a job, and it takes you 3 minutes to do that. Okay, that's 10 minutes right there. If you do that 3 times a day, that's 30 minutes a day. If Absolutely. You do that 4 days a week, it actually winds up, you're spending over an hour and a half a week untangling hoses at the gun. This stuff really does add up on the time,
Okay, I got a question real quick. For those of you that are wanting a ticket to the huge convention, a free ticket to the huge convention, what the first person to answer the question correctly, what was the name of Eric and Lisa's company before it was Liberty Soft Wash?
Ah.
There you go. See, trying to find a way to. No, you can't win it. Anyhow, so the first person to come up with that gets a free ticket. And then you were saying something else, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Annie, so Stephen Michael Hart wins a ticket.
And that's another thing too, going back to like the swivels and adding efficiency. For a while I had people that were afraid of electric hose reels. The motors are going to go bad. I don't want to spend that extra money, but the amount of efficiency that those hose reels add to your rig, you're winding up 900 feet of hose sometimes, at 4 to 5 different jobs a day. If you're hand cranking as opposed to pushing a button, I mean, it's a huge difference. And sometimes they don't realize that. But when you can stand there like Ray and I can and say, well, we've used these on our truck. We had these on our truck for years. They do make your job more efficient. When you help them understand that, again, they don't know what they don't know, things like that also, add with the efficiency.
Mm-hmm. It's not something I would go in debt to get, but I'll tell you what, whenever I got some on my personal rig that I had at Spray Wash, towards the end there, it had the electric reels on it. And I was just like, boy, why didn't I get these before? Because this is pretty darn cool right here, especially whenever you're out working alone, which seemed to happen. I was the guy that was working alone out there because I was taking the emergency jobs. It was dang sure nice to have the and then I had the shoulder surgery and all that. And boy, you just, because it just sucks at the end of the day, just have the thought of having to roll up the hoses after you're completely gassed and
I used to prefer a hand crank, believe it or not. I just, for some reason, I didn't like the electric swivels until, we had them for maybe 6 months, and then they really started to sink in their value. And, I think it was a macho thing for the hand crank. And, then you realize, you know what, they're a waste. I mean, I really needed to, so we started buying all electric from there out.
Oh yeah.
And just same thing with the electrics. You just need to make sure that you maintain them, number one, keep the bleach off the motors, and have a spare motor. You don't necessarily need a spare chain, but I would recommend a spare motor if you have lots of them. Okay. I mean, if you have lots of hose reels. If you've only got a couple, maybe not. But I know we had one freeze up, and man, after I got that one replaced, I fixed the motor to have it as a backup. And then when another one froze up, same thing. But it's always from employees spilling bleach directly on the motor.
Right.
Other than that, they last. I mean, they're good. They're
yeah, absolutely.
So what rigs? So I'm trying to think of a good question for you, but I keep going back to a thought that keeps hitting my head, and that is when you guys had your grand opening there, and we all came up, and we keep talking about the building the rigs and the mistakes of building rigs and all that. And I remember somebody had brought their rig with them, and Eric's out there looking, and I mean, the problems with this skid that somebody built, don't even know who built it, were surprising to us. And Eric's just like, this we got to do, and we're gonna do this, and I'm like, and it was surprising to me. So and then again, seeing the Liberty Soft Wash rig getting cranked out when you guys built that one, that was an awesome rig.
Yeah, that's that.
I know a great question. Okay. I know a great question for the next giveaway. What logo? But no, this is not the question. What logo did Eric and Lisa remove with a torch from?
Yeah. You use the initials and you still win. How's that?
You're gonna get us all blown.
Oh God, that's awesome.
Inside joke. Sure. There you go.
Lordy.
Yeah.
Jason used to clean with the
I think about
tricycle.
saying that, you know.
Valuable information about removing vinyl stickers off of your truck. It was very cool. It's gotten quite a few views.
So it just happened.
Problems and negativity. It was about getting rid of problems and negativity.
Absolutely. Throwing them in the trash can.
There you go. There you go.
Lisa, are you seeing more and more people use hose reels as just storage devices at this point, or are they still running fluid through them?
Our builds, most of our builds that we do, we normally bypass the hose reels. Just it's going to save on the hose reel itself. Another thing people don't realize is whenever you're using these soft wash systems, especially even like the booster pumps and stuff, like if you still have hose on the reel, that's hard on the pump, you know, whenever it's running, whenever you have that hose compressed. So whenever we bypass the reels, that means you have to pull out all of the hose in order to connect it. You know, so it's better on the hose reel. It's better on the pump.
Yeah.
Now, what amazes me is, and you know, we're in the industry of pulling hoses and spraying water, and we get that all the time. Like, I don't want to pull all the hose off the reel. If I just want to clean 25 feet away, I just want to pull off this little bit of hose. So it's not ideal for everybody. You know, there's certain areas, you know, in New York, for instance, they have shorter driveways, so they may not ever need 250 feet of hose.
Or they might even be having a lot of asphalt driveways instead of concrete.
Right, exactly.
You got a lot of that in Pennsylvania, don't you?
Yeah, yes, we do. Majority are asphalt. Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things though that why Tim would always cut his end up, and we love the garden hose fittings up here to connect, you know, hoses with, but only doing 50-foot sections of hose, so you can take off however much hose that you need and put that into the booster pump, right? Or put that into the air system out there, so you're not dragging. You're not, you know, you don't have any friction loss through 200 extra feet of hose that you're having to go.
See, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I wouldn't want to bypass my reel, but that's mainly because of how we operated, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, we kept 300 feet of hose on the truck, and so, you know, we would typically start out, and you can drag all the way around to the back side, and a lot of times we would use up, you know, 250 feet. And getting close to that 300 feet of hose just to get around to the back side of the house because of the way things are here. And so, you know, we liked having that, you know, all the way. The only difference on that would be like for our roof pumps. But even then, I mean, I can't tell you, I don't think I ever had a manifold go bad. I know that they recently had one go bad. But I don't think I ever had a manifold go bad, even with our roof pumps. I mean, the fittings and the swivels and things like that go bad, but on the inside, I don't think it's ever gone bad.
Yeah, we see it a lot. I mean, we have a lot of rigs come in for service, and we see it a whole lot. So it's just, you know, one of those things that we do for our builds. Another reason, like for bypassing your hose reel with your garden hose, is restriction. You have a 3/4 inch garden hose and you're running it through a 1/2 inch manifold a lot of times, unless you special order a larger manifold. So if you're, you know, like here, we have water. So we're always chasing water. We're always, you know, we have 500 gallons of water on our truck. We run, you know, 8-gallon-a-minute machine, you know, on every job. And, you know, there's times where we run out of water just because we have, you know, bad water. So any restrictions that are in there is, you know, keeping water out of our tank. So when we can go, you know, directly.
Lisa, look what I just got.
Yes. See, those are nice. Those are very nice.
Talk about that with tell everybody. And I just ordered these on Lisa's advice on here. You said restrictions. Tell everybody about Topaz and why they should get these.
Yeah. These Job valves, they're high flow valves. They're an alternative to the Hudson valves. We haven't seen issues like you have with the Hudson valves there, and you can put them on your tank and get more water flow. And whenever you put the Hudson valves in, they drop the water level down so low. So with these Job valves, you can put them higher up in the tank, and you actually can get more water in the tank. 25 gallons could be the difference.
Yeah,
on a job.
You're losing a solid 3-4 inches of water with a Hudson float valve in there, and these Job valves go all the way up.
Yeah, no kidding. I took my Hudson float valves and I built I built a little thing so that they barely stuck into the lid or inside the tank, because otherwise, yeah, you're losing so much water. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
And then when they go bad and they just sit there and overflow all the time, it's like,
yeah. Now those valves, they're more expensive.
Proud of them. Yeah.
Be replacing them a lot less than the Hudson valves. I don't know how many times the truck came back and the Hudson valve went out. The water's overflowing, and we've been running these now for the last going on a year now in the Liberty truck, and we haven't had any issues.
Wow.
In the bill too.
So
something, Doug, and let me add this too, though. Something especially, I don't think it matters as much on the I don't think it matters as much on the pressure washing side, but if you think about the fluid dynamics of, let's say you have a booster or an air system, and everywhere that thing goes into the reel, you go into the swivel, 90-degree angle. Out of the swivel, 90-degree angle. You've introduced like 3 90-degree angles into that hose reel.
Right.
And if you think about a river or a stream on there, wherever it makes a 90-degree angle, your fluid dynamics start to screw up, and you get, the kind of the bubbles on the inside and the faster current around the other. Whereas if you're a straight pipe, a straight shot on a hose, you're not losing and getting this drag from the fluid dynamics going around 90-degree angles on there. So that's one of the pros for bypassing your hose reels.
Absolutely.
So real quick again, if you are trying to win a ticket to the Huge Convention, make a comment so that we can letting us know, not just making a comment, letting us know that you're trying to win tickets to the Huge. And then Lisa, this time you're going to come up with a question for somebody.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Well, actually, Eric and I were just, nobody's going to know that. Let me think about that. Let's continue to talk, and I'll think on it, and I'll have a question.
There you go.
All right.
Ray, check your cell. Steven's saying.
Yes, I did. Steven is going to, Steven said he would like to donate his ticket back. He's already gotten his ticket. Mm-hmm.
All right, so Steven, let's do this. Since Steven won a ticket and he's not needing a ticket, pick a number between 1 and 5. Pick a number between 1 and 5, and whatever number that comes up on my sheet right here, that's who's going to win the ticket. Anyhow, win your ticket.
How about this? I've been doing a lot of social media posting here lately about my grandson. It's kind of my thing now, other than my, I guess, dad jokes I post. My grandson's name. First person to post my grandson's name.
Oh! That's going to be a tough one, I think. For if they don't follow you, that's going to. But I don't think, have we mentioned it on the show?
I don't
think so.
We had or not. Yeah. How about this? We'll take my son's name. We have mentioned that.
We did mention your son. So yes, first person that is looking for a ticket that can tell us what Lisa's son's name is, you get the ticket. How's that?
That sounds.
It's Facebook user, and I think I know who that is, but Facebook user, tell us your name. I think I know who that is, though. I actually think that's Ricky. He's here in Baton Rouge.
So, Doug, we will be offering the basics class online as well, won't we? that we're doing at the Huge?
Yeah, we're gonna put together an online class for the basics class. I'm just waiting on somebody to send me a couple of files.
Yeah, no.
Anyhow, yeah. So the basics class will be online. I don't see any reason why we won't end up getting the metal roof cleaning class online as well. And then we are also what's the other one that we're working on? I sent you the other day. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Yeah, whatever. Anyhow, so Merlin pressure washing. Stephen, you're going to get Stephen's ticket, and Ricky, you've just got yourself a ticket as well. So, and then that'll give us one more ticket to give away for the night. Might give away two. Might give away two though. Who knows?
Boy, that's a good mentor right there, Steve Sabella. Man.
That's what Eric and I.
Good. Somebody said.
Eric and I were talking the other day just about some of the events that we've been to over the years, and gosh, it seems like, I don't know, 2010, 2012, I think might have been the first one that we went to. And that's actually where we met Ray and Tanya, and we were just getting started at that point. I think Ray and Tanya were a little bit farther ahead than we were at that point, and it's just kind of cool, all the people that you meet at these events, you think they're just people that you're gonna see here and there and everything, and they kind of become like family. I remember sitting at the restaurant down the crazy family. Mm-hmm. But we went to this restaurant, everybody was invited to this party after the event, and we didn't know anybody, of course. We're here from Pennsylvania, all these Florida people around and everything, and we had met Ray and Tanya. And Tanya's, we're kind of standing in the background, and Tanya's sitting at the big table with there's like 20 people at the table. And Tanya looks over and she sees us and she's like, come over here. So she had us come over to the table. Everybody kind of spread apart, and she pulls up 2 chairs for us and just kind of welcomed us in. And that's where we met so many people that, that we're still friends with to this day. Ray and Tanya, we met Steve Hill down there. We met Paul, we met Aaron Ritchie. So it's kind of cool, where you come, these events, that you go to, where you think it's just going to be, some people that you, just kind of see that you have these lasting relationships with. So it's kind of, yeah.
I know I when I go to the conventions, one of the things that I see a lot of is people sitting off and not wanting to engage and not wanting to get in and not wanting to talk to people and that sort of thing. And I can't tell you enough. I mean, sales 101, you got to break out of your shell anyhow. But I mean, going up and talking to people, striking up conversations. If you drink or you don't drink, go to the bars and join everybody at the socials. Doesn't matter. That's where you're going to meet people and you're going to learn so stinking much. It's not even funny. The classes are great, and the socials are, I mean, just as great, because the sitting out there in the hall and talking to somebody, just walk up and introduce yourself. It doesn't even matter if you know where they're from or whatever. Strike a conversation. You'll be surprised at the wealth of knowledge. Ray, what would you say if I said, let's look at the low end and the high end? On the low end, what would you say is the lowest dollar amount of contractor that's there? Meaning, what's the lowest amount that contractor has made in the washing business that's going to be there at the huge convention?
$30,000. Actually, no, you're okay. Zero. Yeah, because we have met people at the huge that have not anything, But there's been, they've literally been there beginning, just just started their business at that point.
So, what would you say is the highest dollar amount person that we have coming there?
I knew somebody for 30 million or something. Yeah.
So the whole point of this is you literally are walking around people that are just starting in business. They have no clue. They haven't made a dime. And then you've got a lot of people around there that are making millions, if not 30 million or more. And then a lot of guys that are in that $500,000-$600,000 range, that $200,000 range, the million range, the $2 million range, the $20,000. it's just so vast of what what you can learn there from these people. And then you're going to meet people like Lisa. See how I pointed correctly? I know for many of you, you don't realize, but it's pointing is always difficult because it's the wrong direction. But you're going to meet people like Eric and Lisa that have power wash stores and know how to build rigs and can help you build your rig. So go.
Absolutely.
And for guys who didn't win tickets, we will have more opportunities to win coming up before the show here. Yeah.
We got one more to give away for the evening. So before we're done, we got to give away one more. And every week we're going to give away at least 4 tickets to the Huge Convention, completely free. And these are being given to you by the Huge Convention as our sponsor for the show. And we can't thank them enough for giving you guys the tickets to be able to come. Again, they're really pushing for having employees and spouses come to the show because it is such a, I think that's one of the things that we're learning too in this industry that's kind of underserved is, and Lisa, let me ask you this question too, while we're still at it. Are you finding that where I was going is that there's a lot of times we're missing out on the employees. We're not doing things for the employees, or we're not thinking about the employees. Are you finding in the building rigs that some of the guys are trying to think of ways to build them for employees?
Yeah. Well, actually, the truck that was just dropped off on Friday, the guy found us, and he was like, he found us on YouTube or somewhere. He found us. He was like, this is who needs to build our truck. So I talked to the employee before I talked to the owner. And then the owner is the one, writing the checks and dropping the truck off for me. But yeah, they came from, they were from Massachusetts and came all the way from Massachusetts. Wow. The guy down, he flew back home on Friday. But they do for their employees. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, both for employees and, we've done builds for one-man operations too. So it's all in, what they're for.
Speaking of videos, you said they found you on YouTube. So Jason Gulf Coast just asked, does making videos of your work help grow your business? 100%. Whether you're in the washing, if you're in, obviously it helps with y'all because somebody found you on YouTube. But on, for us washing, I would document house washes. I would document large projects and really have fun with it. Because remember, YouTube is owned by Google, and it's just, even though I guess they're supposedly separate, but it seems like, boy, your YouTube videos sure do rank up there pretty high in searches. And if you start, putting your own, I'm not the internet expert on here, but the more you can have out there on the internet, and especially, with the ease of an Apple computer, which I think, Lisa will attest to, and I'm a Mac guy as well. It's pretty darn easy to make a video, on a Mac and even an iPhone, and put something that's palatable out there as a little photo slideshow on YouTube and do a voiceover.
But the thing that you need to remember about
so
videos,
many people are so worried.
Oh, this lag is killing us.
That's fine. What do we need to learn?
The thing that you need to learn the most about videos is that, or understand the most about videos, is that YouTube can't see, or excuse me, not YouTube, Google, in the Google algorithms, they don't see what's in the video. They don't hear what's in the video, right? So you have to write a description that explains what that video is in order for it to really be helpful for you in your business side of it. So there's that. There was another question somebody asked. I saw the question. I want to try to go ahead and answer it. And that was, they were asking about something about what did we think about, can you make a living in rural areas? And so, first of all, I would say yes, but you also have to define what that demographic, how big that rural area is. Because if it's a town of 700 people, well, probably not. But what are your thoughts on that, Lisa and Ray?
We're in the middle of Amish country here. And there's a lot of washers around us washing things not for the Amish, so we do, there's a lot of money to be made in the rural areas as well. Mm-hmm. it's probably a little bit easier for us up here because we're not as saturated with contractors, like in Florida. So we're still able to, to get higher prices and things like that to, make a little bit more. But then again, we're seasonal, so that that plays into that as well. But yeah, you can definitely make money in rural areas. For here, it's, it's helpful to get into this, to connect with the people that are in your area. So like for us, even like for the power wash store, we want to go after farmers in addition to contractors, because we have a lot of farmers around here. Mm-hmm. So you have to use the people and, what's around you, for your sales.
To understand your market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Every time I hear Amish country, I just go to, in my head, Weird Al Yankovic, and though I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize she's very plain. Gangster's Paradise, or Amish Paradise. God, one of the best parodies ever.
I shouldn't mention this, but I saw somebody did a TikTok of Biden and somehow I got to find that. You got to say it's funnier than it is.
I'm going to hurt your feelings right now.
Convulsion. No, I do not own a Cyclone any longer.
And the negotiated settlement keeps them from saying anything else about that.
No, I mean, people would be surprised to hear me say, but I mean, it really could be a great machine. And for the right purposes, it is a great machine for the right purposes, but not what I believe they were marketing it for or to. And so, no.
That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
I don't know. Biggest fish can't grow in a small body of water on the other for a small fish. I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about rural type living, you do have to be, somewhat practical and never ever say, never, you can't do that. You have to say, okay, here's what it's going to take for me to do that. And is that practical or not? Mm-hmm. But I know rural guys that are, single guys with a helper, one truck that are at $250 a year. I know rural guys that have 2 trucks that are $450 a year out there. So it's absolutely possible. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're the guy who is, I'm going to start $1 million cleaning business in Hogs Knuckle, Iowa, population 3,500. Again, you've got to practically look at it. I mean, you could sell jobs to everybody in the town, and you're still going to have to be spending a lot of your time traveling and going and doing, which again is very, very doable. I mean, just understand you're probably not going to be home every night at 5 p.m. on doing that. And you're going to have to focus on some commercial travel work on there, but it's still doable.
And you might have
just don't deal with the self-limiting behavior. Don't ever go, well, I'm in a small town, so I'm not going to be big, because you can do whatever you set your mind to.
And you might have, it just might mean that you have to diversify a little bit, maybe right. You offer more services, One of the things that, I just didn't want to do was window cleaning. I look back on it now and I wish I would have, and Cajun Soft Wash is now offering window cleaning. So if you're in the greater Baton Rouge area and you're needing your windows cleaned, Cajun Soft Wash is the one for you. Anyhow, sorry, Ricky. You just might have to diversify a little bit and offer more services, because if you're roof cleaning, soft wash, house washing, concrete cleaning, maybe if you add the windows, it might increase that revenue enough to make it worthwhile for you. Hood cleaning is another one, right?
Yeah. We did that, here seasonal. So we needed something, in the wintertime to keep us going, throughout our commercial cleaning. So that's what we did hood cleaning. We actually, Eric and one of our helpers went down and trained with Ray. And
came down and hung out with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was horrible. It was awful, and it was gross. But you know what? It got you through. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about this industry, of how willing we are to. It seems like that's kind of how you can really tell the pros from the non-pros, because if your guru isn't willing to train with you, then maybe they're not really a good guru, right? Because most of the gurus, it's like, yeah, I don't even want money in return. Come out, hang out with us for a couple of days. Come out and see this and do this. I mean, it's not about selling you something. It's about setting you on the road to success on doing stuff.
I think part of it too, when you look at it, is that I don't think, I know myself, I don't consider myself a guru. I don't think Ray considers himself a guru. I don't think Lisa considers herself a guru, right? And those that are setting out to be gurus are the ones that you really have to watch out for. They're the ones that aren't gurus at all, kind of a thing. And so we're just, to be cliche, we're hardworking Americans that are trying to help others grow and build their businesses as well.
Yep. And I think that social media, and it's gotten to be now, everybody, it seems like everybody's been around forever, and everybody hasn't been around forever. There's companies that have been building for a very long time. Power Wash Store, for example, has been building skids for a very long time.
Yes.
And it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because somebody may have more videos than somebody else. Right. And then that precedence, it's like, oh, okay, well, they must be number one because they have videos. And it's not always, not always the case.
here's a little known thought for you. So a lot of the skids that are out there are mimicked from a very certain person's skids, and they're built around the design of a certain person that gets no credit for it. And maybe that should be the last ticket that we give away if they can answer that question, even though it wasn't mentioned on here. Do you guys know who I'm talking? Obviously, you guys know, right? So Paul Cassander, I don't think he gets enough credit for a lot of the things that he has brought into this industry and that he has helped raise up in this industry. And the skids are one of them. He was one of the first ones to ever build skids like that.
Power Wash Store was one of the first, and it was Power Wash Store and a Soft Wash Systems had, the truck back skids. And I believe it was Power Wash Store that was building the skids for Soft Wash, weren't they? I could be wrong on that, but there was something.
I don't know all the history on that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And the other one too, it's one of the interesting things where Paul's just pretty amazing in that respect. But the Control Wizard, which was the original, clicker
remote control,
the original remote control that was the downstream injector. And they're all the rage now, and there must be 9 or 10 different ones that people have. But it was 2014 or 15. It was before the Proportioner that he came out with the Control Wizard.
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that would be a downstream.
I thought he came out. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong.
It was a year before the Proportioner that came out. So because when the Proportioner came out, then all of a sudden that really kind of went by the wayside on that. So I've seen a couple of people mention here about the rural farm equipment, silo washing, hog barns, chicken houses. I'm not saying it's beautiful, wonderful work, but it's work and it pays extremely well,
There's a lot of work out there that you may not even realize, and that's where
ice dam removal.
Look, that's one of the biggest reasons to go to the huge convention, especially if you're in rural areas. Talk to other people there and ask them what other services do they offer? Where are they, who are some of their clients and all that? Find out what it is that these people are doing, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of work out there that I'm sure there's things that we haven't thought of that really fit in this niche, in this business frame.
Right. Yeah, we've seen a lot. Well, we just recently had training. We had paver sealing training. I think Ray just did that as well with the, and then we did Christmas lights. Those are another two different services that we've seen a huge increase in our contractors doing. Just to add that additional service, especially again up here in the Northeast. Things get cold. Christmas lights, contractors stop cleaning in October and go to Christmas lights and are hanging Christmas lights, till December. And it's like a whole nother year's incomes, jammed into that couple months time. So it's, a lot of different things that pressure washers can get into.
Yeah. Headstones was another good one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give away one more ticket. What are we going to do to give away this ticket? Give me an idea.
I'm bad at ideas.
All right, the audience, give us an idea of what we should do to give away a ticket. How's that?
That works.
We'll put it on you guys.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. If you
Best dad joke. Okay.
Oh man, that's a good one. Let's see here. Hold on, where was it? Damn it. Yeah, if you get into the horse culture in Florida, you're in with the barn cleaning, and that's something, we have the barns kind of like Kentucky does with the race horses here in Florida. And you get down Central Florida, man, the barns cleanings can be just something amazing. And I know I just sent two, the horse people are very unique. And I just sent two referrals out in different areas to horse people on setting up for horse shows and cleaning temporary stalls that both went out to pro members. Wow. Yeah.
So
good submarket.
Tyler Bunch said to ask a chemical question. So give us a chemical question, Ray, that we can ask everybody out there, and the first one to answer that's looking for a ticket, that they'll win the ticket.
A chemical question.
What's the number one selling? There you go.
No, let's see here. A chemical question. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And it's got to be simple enough to answer and not really subjective. I would have to say, how many knockoffs of Apple Wash are there currently on the market? No.
I don't know, because if anybody's cut one of their fingers off, they ain't gonna be able to count high enough.
I mean, seriously, there's watermelon, pomegranate, banana, blueberry, strawberry, watermelon, asparagus, dragon fruit. I mean, do something besides freaking apples, guys. Come on.
Anything. All right, Steven has a good question. What chemical neutralizes? Who, if you're looking for a ticket, what?
That's a great question. I like that. What
chemical neutralizes bleach? If you're looking for a ticket for the huge convention, be the first one to answer that question. We all should be able to answer that question. And yeah, come up with that. Anyhow. Tom, that's kind of unfair, right? So, because Tom said, I think Tom was the first one to answer, and he said water, but that's not really a chemical, but it is, I don't know. What do you guys think?
We may have to we may have to do that for well, okay, hold on. Not neutralizes.
It dilutes it, but it doesn't neutralize. It dilutes. Which
you said sodium hypochlorite, though. So really and truly, if you think about it, Scott Davidson is correct, because you've got an acid being sprayed on an alkaline. Oxalic it's not destroying the salt on there. It's not destroying the bleach, but it is technically, there is a lot to do with the wording of this chemical. Oxalic will neutralize sodium hypochlorite. It still has dangerous components with it, but it will neutralize it.
So Big Ben was before him saying sodium thistlephate.
Yep, that's true. Sodium thiosulfate. That's the one that, I mean, I'm sitting here just looking at it, but Tom and Big Ben they're both correct on there. So
all right. So
pollution is the dilution to solution. Pollution is the solution to pollution.
So how about we say Big Ben and Tom both get one?
Yeah, I think we can dip into the vault.
All right.
Hey, speaking of neutralizers, do you have, Lisa, have you gotten any of Joe's stuff yet?
I did. I just got some in on Friday or Thursday.
We just got some in with our ship.
Yep, those cute little buckets.
And this is from the guys these are guys from the guys that brought you Nutripods. Joe now is the Nutripods, the NP3000, which is this is in its crystalline form, and they say this, 3 or 4 cents a gallon is what this makes neutralizer for. I mean, it's ridiculously cheap. So, get these at your power wash store. It's a great. So instead of actually having a pod that you have to stick in a gutter, this comes in a form where you can dissolve it. And I'll show you here if I can keep from spilling it all over myself. And it's crystal, comes with a handy measuring thing, and doesn't look near as much like cocaine as the Nutripods did. So yeah.
And now that is that one's been opened, and it'll be a discounted rate tomorrow at the Power Wash store.
No, it's been closed back.
Hey, for those of you that won tickets tonight, send me a message, either Doug at spraywashacademy.com, Doug at spraywashacademy.com. I have it written down. I will try to reach out to you, but I'm saying reach out to me. I will make sure that you get your link for a ticket and get you taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your input. It was encouraging. I think so. Several people chimed in that they're working with their spouse, or they're trying to get their spouse to quit their other job and come with them full time. Yeah, I can say for it myself. I mean, the biggest blessing that I've had in my life is being able to work with Tanya.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and probably the ladies won't like to hear this, but I'll say that most of everything that I've learned about pressure washing was because I listened to my husband.
Oh.
Sometimes you have to listen to your husband, and you can actually learn something. So.
Oh my God, I am going to literally take that little 5.
Take that clip. I just did the same thing.
And I'm going to record it on a loop and just put it on Tanya's
phone.
To
your husband. Listen to your husband.
Listen to your husband.
Can I tell a funny story here? And I've told this story before in my class, but just a quick story. So before, when I first started cleaning with Eric, I was before I was cleaning with him, I had interior cleaning business. I did offices and some residential stuff, so that was my job. So Eric went full time, and I think he was doing it for a year with a helper, and he was like, "Hey, you need to come and do this with me." So I was like, "Okay." So quit doing that. First day on the job, we were going down to it was actually we were cleaning the roof, and then we were coating the roof. It was a huge standing seam metal roof. So we're 2 hours down to this job. The whole way down to this job, my job was going to be standing with the box truck, making sure that all the equipment was running okay, and fueling up the machines and everything. So Eric says, "Okay." He says, "Now, the most important thing," he says, "is a fire extinguisher." He says, "Do you know how to work a fire extinguisher?" I was like, "Never really had to do it." So I was like, no. He's like, "Okay." He's like, "All you got to do, pull the pin, shoot, squeeze the trigger." And he kept saying that over and over and over again. Like, by the end of the ride, I was like, "Okay, I get it. So they start cleaning this roof. I'm down on the floor. They're 40 feet up in the air on this roof. The roof access is probably about 200 feet away from Eric happened to be working. So Eric looks over the roof, and he sees this huge plume of black smoke coming up from where the box truck was. So, of course, he goes taking off across the roof, coming down here. what had happened was, this was before I knew anything, and I'm not teaching any safety classes anytime soon, but I was going to refuel one of the machines and took the cap off without turning the machine off because it was a pull start and I couldn't start it. So as soon as I took that cap off, had the chain hit the thing, and I had this huge fireball now inside our box truck that we had just built. So I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? So I go to grab the fire extinguisher. I knew exactly how to operate the fire extinguisher because Eric had told me. So I grabbed the fire extinguisher, I go and whoosh. By this time now, Eric has come down off the roof and everything, the fires and everything. And fortunately, he told me that over and over again. And he looks like, what the hell happened? I told him what happened and everything. He calmed me down. And he's like, it's good. He's like, you did good. You did exactly what you were supposed to. And then he told me that my hair had been singed with this fireball. He was like, I just want to tell you now, you lost some of your hair there. So I saved the box truck, but my hair kind of got burnt there. But it was that pull the trigger, aim and shoot that saved our box truck. So
yeah,
just listen to your husband every now and then.
Something everybody should know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, we've definitely enjoyed it. Appreciate you very much. And stick around once we cut off and we'll chat for a few minutes. But
perfect.
Definitely appreciate everybody joining in. And again, if you want a ticket tonight, please send me an email, Doug@spraywashacademy.com. I'll tell you how to get your ticket. There's only a $479 fee to get that information, but gotta make money, right? No. Send an email to Doug@spraywashacademy.com and we will get you taken care of.
Good deal. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Peace out, everybody.